So I'm here with the stars of Dear Jassi, the ultimate of the Romeo and Juliet stories. I'm speaking to Pavia Sidhu and Yugam Sood. Yes, I'm going to get it right. In a cosmic way, you're the definition of movie magic. Somehow your tape, you sent the tape in, you were interested in this production, somehow it wasn't considered, it was put in the virtual garbage, if you will. You were not an actor, you're claimed out of the stratosphere like that. So this is what I love about cinema, is that we can have stories like this on top of other stories. I'd like to go back and recall the moment where you first met each other outside of cinema, like outside of the set, but also your first scene together, and sort of how you built that synergy, that energy together. How did that look like in those two different junctures?
The first time we met, I'll start with that, I suppose. It was funny because I had arrived and I just landed, and we went right to the set.
Yes.
And we went right to the set, and I remember the director being like, "This is the house, this is your co-star, this is the other place," and that was kind of the introduction. And I think I just left to go the other way to go see the other set. So there wasn't a full. I think we met afterwards where we really shook hands.
Hilarious.
Yeah. So I think I saw him there, but I didn't know he was my co-star, and so there was nothing before I landed in India. I had no idea actually at all what this was. I remember being on the plane thinking, I really don't know what I'm going into. I just hope this plane lands and I stay there.
Yeah. You're fully thrusted into...
Right, because I think it was very, as the director had said, it happened very fast, at least near the end. Everyone was cast. And so when I arrived, it was me meeting everyone else, really. But I think the funny thing is I did say, I think I mentioned Romeo when we first met, even though I didn't think, the story was Romeo and Juliet at all. Like that's not even where I drew, I think, inspiration from. So, but I had said, Romeo as my co-star when we first met.
When you had sent an audition tape, you knew very little about the character, or did you have?
Well, the audition tape, truthfully, I've graduated law school, and that's where my focus was. So a lot of this, I had gotten the tape. Because I've been acting in theater and stuff beforehand, I think I did it at a different time. So I honestly don't even know if the tape really went through. I think there's stuff there because I don't think I submitted it at the right time either.
Okay.
But once that did happen, the tape wasn't even sides. It was just talking. I don't remember what the tape was. It was a very interesting tape, and then I ended up talking to the director through other means, which is fascinating because I did remember looking at it and thinking, this is amazing. Like this would be. I feel like I felt something about it. So hopefully that was part of it.
you're on set and you see this person coming off like probably jet lag, so you get to say, that's who I'm going to be paired with. So what was that experience like? First of all, seeing your co-star really quickly and then just jumping into things, and that first scene, how was that experience for you like?
I remember first time I saw her when I came to know that she's my co-star, she's gonna do the lead with me. I was so shocked, I was so scared that she's from a different nation. I don't know the language that she speaks. What if I say something wrong and she makes fun of me?
Yeah.
And I was just so scared of her. But yeah, when I saw her, she was on the set, not set on a house where we're gonna shoot.
Yes.
So I was sitting on the manja, and she came to me with the director, and the director was introducing as she said. So it was really amazing when I came to know. She's the girl. She's pretty. I'm gonna do acting with her. It's amazing. It's gonna be amazing.
That's all you need.
And maybe people watching this film wouldn't necessarily know it, but English was, you learned acting in a way at the same time as you learned a second language, which is just as, I imagine you were full of fear for both, in both instances.
There's only one thing about me I want to say. I am very quick learner. I learn things so quick. This is the thing.
So I imagine we bring you to Canada, you're going to be a hockey player too. So when Tarsem is filming, how aware of you are you of the frame that he's employing? So there's all different techniques. I mean, this guy is so versatile with the visual language, but here he's employing medium shots, which is allowing you guys a lot of space to exist on the screen. And essentially what it does is allows for us to fall in love with these characters. How aware were you of where you were placed in the scene and perhaps the effects of having it shot in such a way?
I think I was aware because he had told us that there's no close-ups and also that there's no music. And I thought, okay, so I have to do really good, otherwise this is not going to work. And I knew that going into it, but afterwards I think my focus was always being able to really live in that space, live in what my version of what Jassi was and the story, and make sure I really put my focus on that. But I was very grateful because the director always told us what was happening and he always kept us in the know, which is truly a gift. And I don't know how often, I mean, I have no idea how often it happens, but it definitely felt like a gift.
You get a sense that Tarsem is very, 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 very precise in what he's thinking, and that perhaps there's less space to play around. Was that the case?
So this is the best thing about Tarsem sir. He's very, very punctual. He's very strict to his decision, what he wants to do.
Yeah.
So the thought that came into his mind, he just take action.
Yes.
You don't need anything to
Intuitive.
ask, to share about something to someone. He just take decisions. I love it the most. This is the best thing in him.
And it helps build confidence, I guess, as the progression, because the filming was over close to 50 days. This is like 2 months. So I imagine for you, it's about gaining confidence about the role, about your skills, but also what you're bringing to the characters. How did you relate to your individual characters? I imagine as much as it's far removed from your reality, there's also something that you can identify with. How did it resonate with you as you're understanding the weight of these players and what they could have been in real life? Like how much of a responsibility did you feel towards portraying them to the best of your ability?
I mean, I'm playing we're both playing real people. And this is the first real movie, so that was a challenge because I've always drawn for myself and I enjoy being imaginative, and as a child I just made stuff up constantly in my head. So to actually have that responsibility, like you mentioned, to play someone real, you have to do justice to what is true, what is already there. So I did let my imagination go a little bit, but I mean the truth is a real person, and that is your job. So I tried to stay as truthful to who she was, but as a human, I think you have the capability of relating to everything in a sense, because you have a lot of the universe or all the thoughts or all the beliefs inside of you somewhere, or you could find a perspective somehow that matches that perspective. So I think there's parts of me that might be different, but there's a whole part of me that's quite similar. And I think we find that with human connection, which is why people connect to different stories. So with that perspective, I was definitely able to find what Jassi was, and I think it made me a better person because she was full of love and full of light.
Yeah.
And I had to really tap into that version of me, and I really enjoyed that.
Wow. And for you, I mean, it's your character is going through I want to say a more complex architecture, if you will. I mean, there's so many things that are working against him. So it's not only this pursuit of love, but it's the pursuit of justice in a way, and injustice. You're dealt with it at every single turning point in this film.
As I told you, I'm very quick learner.
Yeah.
So I had Tarsem sir, I had Pavia, I had all the cast members on the set to tell me what should I do, how should I feel inside. But if I talk about the character, I love to play. I literally love the most to play that character. The incident of the story is very next to place where I live, like near Ludhiana. So I know the things, how things goes around there. I know how people think from there. I know how people do actions there. I know what's the limit of the thinking. I know a lot of things about, because it's my place. So it was not that hard for me to play the character, but I enjoyed the most. I loved the character. It's my good karam that I got the chance to play the character of Niku.
I would like to say same. I love my character. I don't think I mentioned it. Should.
I also like the fact that they have so much goodness. They're flawed. They're both naive to a certain degree, and that's what love is. Like love is, you put everything in there. You put all the chips in there. And yeah, we feel this. It's so palpable on screen. I mean, this is why, like I was saying, like after your screening, people were there was this just outreach and this pouring of love, because that's what we see represented in your characters. I think as you're going there as an actress, you're also going there as a human being, and you're feeling the exact limitations of what you can do, freely think. So I was just wondering from a DNA perspective, how bizarre or how weighty was that on your shoulders to sort of like be living what she was living?
I like nodded very vigorously when you said that question. I don't know if the camera got it, but I think I was trying to play the character. A lot of it was also myself. I think the challenges, or not necessarily the challenges, but a lot of people, when people ask me this question, thinking about, oh, what was it really like? It was also a personal experience for me, just because I'm going back to a different country. I'm going to a beautiful country full of love, and then also being able to portray a character and live in that headspace, and being on a set that was massively different from the States and how they do
Yes.
the work there. So that was, it was brilliant in the way that it was organized, and everyone was just amazing. But when I came back, it's like eat, pray, love. I came back a different human being. After I went back to India, I definitely.
But you guys are changed for life. I mean,
right?
like 30 years from now, if ever we cross paths again, we can reference this, and it's just like, it's not a learning experience. It's a life-defining experience.
Right.
And so I want to get into your background a little bit. So, sorry if I don't pronounce it right. You're a kabaddi player.
Yeah, kabaddi.
So kabaddi is. I think there's a portion of it where we do see a kabaddi stance in the film.
Yeah.
So how does the discipline of being really good in so many different sports, how do you relate you as a professional?
I think I got to what I was saying.
Yes.
I think it's in my DNA. I got all that stuff from my father, and my father got all stuff from my
It's passed down. It's a generational thing.
Yeah, my grandfather was a great kabaddi player.
Okay.
Yeah, he was very famous in all the districts around my area. So my father is a very, very good cricket player. He never told me about him, but the people of his age, whenever I met them, they just told me about my father.
They tell stories about your father to you.
Yeah,
wow.
My father never ever told me about him anything. So I got all that stuff from my father. There's only one thing that my father used to say, I remember, just play sports, study. I was good in that. I was good in one thing and the bad in another. I was good in sports, not that bad, but bad in studies.
Yes.
He never stops me to play cricket, play any type of sport. I remember I wake up at 3 a.m. and my grandmother used to do worship on his bed, and I just go like on a bare feet that she don't hear to make sure she not
the footsteps.
Hear the footsteps of me. So I just jump over the gate, go for running, and came back at 6 a.m. and then go to school. After school, I didn't came back to home. I go to the playground for running. Then I go to swimming. Then I go to cricket. Then I go to gym. Then I came back home. So I remember it's 8 or 9 hours workout for one day. In a one day for me. So I continue this for like 10 or 11 years.
You're very disciplined.
Sports make me disciplined.
Yes. So this film was at the platform section at TIFF. It's been traveling since September. Now that you see the power of cinema with this film, how do you relate to that experience? And also, how does it feel to be meeting audiences, to be sharing this true story? Like, what's it doing for you on a personal level? And also, where are you going in your career paths?
I think a lot of my life I had planned before. Right now I'm not doing any plans.
Good for you.
I just find that I will destroy my way of life if I do. And what I've always loved is soul, and I've loved art, and I've always loved following my heart and listening to whatever comes my way. And I love movies. I'm a dancer. I love dancing. I love anything that makes myself be able to express and also brings humans some sort of peace. And I think art, it can do that sometimes.
It can do a lot of stuff.
It can be very healing,
yes.
I suppose. So I don't particularly know. I mean, I do know some parts, but I like the unknown and the magic of it, because this was also an unknown and magic. So I'm happy with the moment that is now. And in terms of the reception of the film, it makes me happy. I know Jesse's a figure who's been in the headlines, but it's giving, knowing that I was able to I was part of,
yes.
but I was part of a story that is being heard, so that there's no personal feeling to it. I'm not attached to it in that way. I don't know. It's not something that gives me much gratification, but it does make me. I don't know what the feeling is. I can't really describe it in a word, but it's lovely to see people talking about Jassi and the real story.
Something to be proud of. On some
right.
level.
Yes.
And for you, I think, like when I first met you, I said the stars are in the sky. It's a line like you're going to be grabbed, and Bollywood's going to just wrap their lasso around you. And I think you did have some projects lined up. So 2024 for you potentially sounds really exciting. So yeah, just like where you're headed now, and the resonance of this film and what its meaning is for you.
It means a lot more than anything to me. Literally a lot more than anything to me. You were talking about the left take or right take in my career. I'm gonna run. I don't know where I'm gonna do like a left take or right take. Sorry, left take or right take. So I'm just gonna run. I don't like walking. I don't like jogging. I'm gonna run. I don't know it's a good way or right way. I'm just gonna run. This is me. I will just grab every single thing that comes in my way and run. I will just grab every single thing in my way and run.
Tarsem, on some level, maybe left a great impression on you because he's very instinctual.
I learned a lot of things from him. I learned how to eat in public. I learned how to talk. I learned how to put, the feeling that you have to show in front of someone. I used to. I'm talking in Punjabi. मैं किसी के सामने मैं रोटी नहीं सी खा पाता, किसी ने मैं अपने बारे दस नहीं सी पाता, मैं किसी नाल कुछ भी नहीं सी शेयर कर पाता. Even when sometimes my relatives came to my home for dinner, lunch, for breakfast, everywhere, they सही बोल रहे हैं.
I think so. Yes.
I was just asking that I'm speaking right. So I remember I never ever sit with them for lunch or for breakfast. I just took my plate in my room and started eating. I couldn't even able to eat in front of anyone. So during the set of Dear Jassi, I learned a lot of things from him. I learned how straight he is, the way he thinks, and the way the idea came to his mind and start action and take action. I love this. I learned this from him, and a lot of things. He's so kind. He's so humble. He never depends on anyone. If he needs to change something on a set, he never waits for a spot boy. He just go and do it by himself. So I learned a lot of things, and I'm gonna learn a lot more from him.
And so, on that final note, is if you go to a movie theater, are you going to teach people how to watch a film? Like, tell them to shut their cell phones and like...
No, this is Tarsem searching. I'm not going to take it from him. It suits on him so much. Literally, it suits on him. And you mentioned before how you feel the magnitude of the theater. I don't know the exact meaning of the magnitude, but I think I get it. I have been in Canada, in London, in Goa, in Saudi. To be honest, Canada was the best.
It is. Go Canadians.
Canadian people
Well, you're very much invited back, and it was a pleasure getting to see you guys off screen and the real. I related to this film. It was really impactful for me, and so it's always a pleasure getting to speak to the people that I stared at for 2 hours, 2+ hours. So thank you very much for your time, and congratulations again on this film. And I look forward to seeing where it goes in this universe. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much.
Hey, this is Eric from IONCINEMA.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.